Today's episode of Off the Timeline is titled, What If the Brewers Never Traded for Jonathan Schoop in 2018? Yeah, that trade. The one that makes Brewers fans go from, we might be World Series bound to, why is Jonathan Schoop grounding into another double play? But what if that move never happened? What if the front office trusted his chemistry, let Jonathan Villar stay, and didn't fix what wasn't broken? What if the right tweak, not the wrong one, launched a small market dynasty? Let's explore a world where the Brewers never made the Scope deal and accidentally built a baseball empire. Section 1, Trade Deadline, 2018, the move that never was. It's July 31st, 2018. The Brewers are contending. Christian Yelich is playing MVP caliber baseball. The team is clicking. In real life, the Brewers traded Jonathan Villar, Luis Ortiz, and John Carmona to Baltimore for Jonathan Schoop. While the Brewers did come back and win the division title and go to the NLCS, when it came to Jonathan Schoop's performance, it was a flop. He hit like he was being paid per ground out. But in this universe, GM David Stern says, nah, we're good. VR stays. The team doesn't panic. Instead of Schoop, the Brewers make some minor moves. Maybe a utility guy like Yang Nervous Solarte. Or they just lean into what they already have. Momentum, versatility, and a bullpen with attitude. Section 2, 2018 postseason a chemistry win. Here's the thing. Schoop did nothing in the playoffs. Like, statistically less than nothing. He made outs when dogs barked and babies cried. Without him, Counsell has more flexibility. VR brings speed, pinch runs, stretches singles and the doubles. The dugout vibes stay sky high. In this timeline, Game 2 of the NLCS isn't a blown opportunity. It's a walk-off win. The Brewers win the NLCS in 6, and now it's 1982 all over again, except they're facing the Red Sox, not the Cardinals. Boston is still Boston. They win in 6. But the Brewers leave the series validated, not gutted. Yelich becomes a national name. Party like it's 1982 t-shirts become vintage classics overnight. Section 3, offseason 2018 to 2019. No hangovers. Instead of DFA and Schoop in December, the Brewers extend Jonathan Villar to a 2-year deal. No Schoop means no awkward payroll question marks. They keep chemistry guys. They add bullpen help. And since Villar never goes to Baltimore, their 2019 season gets even worse. Congratulations. Your rebuild just took longer. Meanwhile, the Brewers build around Yelich, Villar, and a now stabilized Keston Hiura, who's now allowed to develop at his own pace. Also, no clubhouse drama, no second guessing, and most importantly, no psychological baggage headed into 2019. Section 4, the Yelich window blooms. In 2019, Yelich doesn't break his kneecap. Why? Because in this timeline, circumstances are different. The game where he gets hurt has less urgency, and he sits that day. He wins the second MVP. The Brewers win the NL Central with 92 wins and avoid the wild card. They beat Washington in a dramatic NLDS. They lose to the Dodgers in the NLCS, but it's another deep run. Momentum is building. Yelich is a back-to-back MVP, cover athlete of MLB The Show, and now widely considered the best player not named Mike Trout. Section 5, 2020 chaos but cohesion. COVID shortened season. In real life, Milwaukee sneaks in the playoffs and gets obliterated. In this world, Villar and Hiura provide enough offensive spark to steal a wildcard series win. They lose in the next round, but they look like a team ready to break through. Also, Counsell doesn't need to overmanage. He trusts the team. Front office believes in continuity. Section 6, 2021, nearly there. Corbin Burns, like in our universe, wins the Cy Young. Peralta breaks out. Woodruff is steady. And the offense? Yelich is still above average. VR is the veteran leader, and the defense is tight. They beat the Braves in the NLDS and finally face the Dodgers in a 7-game NLCS epic. Milwaukee falls just short, but the national buzz is deafening. Craig Counsell becomes the face of small market brilliance. The Brewers are everyone's second favorite team, unless you're a Cubs fan. Section 7, 2022, the tipping point. This is where the timelines diverge even further. There's no Josh Hader trade in this reality. Why? Because there was no chemistry implosion. Jonathan Villar stayed, and because the front office didn't panic in 2018 and traded for Jonathan Schoop. Hader finishes out the year. The team makes the playoff again. They lose to the eventual champs, but the dynasty whispers begin. Section 8, 2023, World Series at last. The Brewers win 94 games. Jackson Chourio debuts even earlier in this universe in May 2023 and goes off. Corbin Burnes, who's not been traded in this universe, leads the rotation. Peralta's an anchor. The bullpen's on fire. Jonathan Villar retires midseason but stays on as an assistant coach, a fan favorite forever. The Brewers beat the Braves and Dodgers in October and face the Houston Astros in the World Series. 6 games later, Milwaukee wins its first championship. Burnes is World Series MVP. Yelich shops in the clubhouse. Craig Counsell finally smiles for the first time since 2011. Section 9, 2024 to 2028, the Dynasty era. 2024, Corbin Burnes walks a free agency, but they retool. Jackson Chourio is already a star. They win 93 games, but lose in the NLCS. 2025, they add Josh Bell. Jackson Chourio's already the MVP in this universe. And they cruise to a second World Series title, this time over the Mariners. Yes, those Mariners. 2026, they retool again. Yelich retires after 2026, goes out on top, and gets a statue in front of the stadium. 2027, Counsell is now team president. Pat Murphy finally gets his chance to manage. The team wins the division again and loses in the NLCS. 2028, Chourio signs a $320 million extension. The Brewers are still contenders, still beloved, still thriving. Section 10, Legacy. Let's be real. All this is because they did not trade for Jonathan Schoop. Instead of chasing a power bat with no plan, the Brewers trusted chemistry, leaned into versatility, and backed the guys who got them there. And that decision paid off again and again for a full decade. 2 rings, 1 MVP, 1 statue, 0 regrets. So the next time someone tells you a trade deadline deal is always worth a gamble, remind them of this. Sometimes the boldest move is the one you don't make. No scope, no chaos, just championships. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit subscribe if you want more alternate baseball timelines that make you laugh, cry, and question everything you thought you knew about baseball. You're in the right place.